Well, hello there, neighbor. Welcome to another episode of Inside Craft Show. Today, wanted to talk a little bit about organization. So as a company, we're in a pretty small space, as you can see. Now, if you've been following this channel for a little while, you've seen how small the space can actually be, where Jeff and I were both just crammed together like sardines in a can. But now we've moved into something a little bit better. There's actual rooms now. I have my own room. Jeff needed so much room that he moved to North Carolina, so there's that. But then the president's office, unfortunately, is attached to the gear room, but that's her problem to deal with. And then the producer's office is up front. We have an edit bay. I'll show you some of that later down the road. But what I want to talk about with organization and gear, I'm not the world's best, or if you know me, I'm not hyper organized. I know where my stuff is. I know where it is amongst the chaos. And so one of the things that we took an initiative of once we moved in and we had an AC named Patrick start working with us, is we wanted to make sure that gear was accessible, easy to get. And more importantly, we needed to set it up in such a way that when we had multiple shoots, the producer would not have a brutal time trying to get everything put together so she could pull footage, or if one of our DPs came in or videographers came in, they could grab footage and go with it. So I wanted to go over our space and talk about a little bit. So a couple things of note, obviously, it's organized the best we can possibly do with the square footage. This is a tiny room. It is approximately, I don't even know what the square footage is. I'll figure it out, but it's not huge, right? It's almost like a closet. So one thing that we had to deal with is we have carts. So we have we have a Magliner Junior, a full-size Magliner, and then we have like a Costco cart over here in the corner. We need a space for tripods. I wanted a camera chart up inside of here for just testing, make sure everything looks good, back focus, which we rarely use, but you never know. We needed places for Pelican storage, and then we had like shelving to store all the gear. It used to be utter chaos. It is much more tidy now. So that being in there, so we have various lenses that are contained. We have our filter boxes. Actually, this is not right. There we go. Everything's set up in a way for us to see it very easily. Back on this side, you'll notice that we have our shelves of lights. So we have some old Fresnels, we have our aperture gear, we have a variety of things. One of the lights is out, must be out on a job with Noah, which is totally fine. And then we have additional stands here, and we have some additional stands here. And these are our more working stands. These are the ones that go out more often, so they're just baby stands. I prefer those to C stands, though we do have an arrangement of C stands. And then we also have combos. And so combos, all again tucked away, Dana Dolly, a generator, a non-gas generator. We use an electric generator, battery powered one, and it sits in the corner out of the way. So when we need to get to them, we can. There's even room for our Apple boxes. We have another shelf on this side where you can see it's arranged with a variety of products. One thing that goes up there normally is the Aperture MC Pros. We use those a good bit as fill lights or to replace light bulbs or whatever else it might be on certain shoots that we're going over. The other big piece that made a huge difference for us was getting all of our small gear organized. And what we did for that was we actually purchased this Craftsman tool chest. It does close, so you can close the lid. You can lock the lid. We have keys in case we need them. Typically, if someone's breaking in, they're probably getting all of our stuff anyway. And as you can see up top here, we have our battery chargers. So we have a nice charging station. There's multiple ports. There's even USB ports that we use to charge certain batteries or gimbal pieces or USB-C stuff. But we are able to charge a variety of batteries for the types of cameras because we have quite a few. So going through it, up top, we did our small tool area. So we have tool. The drawers close very silently and effortlessly, which is delightful. They're a little bit of a mess, but they're toolboxes. That's what they're there for. So we have a whole section for batteries that are not large batteries, meaning these are not, these are like camera batteries. So it could be the Sony FX3 batteries. It could be our FX6 batteries. It could be a variety of things. It also has many of our cables. So if it's a battery power cable, like a dummy battery cable, those are stored in here. But again, very contained. Additional chargers are here for legacy batteries like our GH5, so forth and so on. The next one down is additional cam accessories. So while that one's marked with power, this one has pieces like for the FX6, the side grip, the eyepiece, various V-mounts that we can use for a variety of things, another power supply or whatever random bits. Down below is matte boxes. Because we have so many matte boxes, we have a variety of them. We actually have a lens drawer. So inside this lens drawer, we're able to put a variety of things. So you can see that our anamorphics are here. It also allows us to have our adapters, various adapters for the FX3, for the Blackmagic. We have our Sony lenses tucked away. This lens on this camera would actually be housed here. 18 to 35, the Canon 7200. And again, various adapters for micro four thirds, everything else that fits. It's nice to have those lenses here. It's not the end all be all. The CPs are out on a job apparently. So we also have a set of CP lenses. Those lenses they stay in their case. It's just easier for us to keep them in their home for now. And then we have some vintage lenses, which are here, which are just small FD style lenses that we use on random things. So that's exciting to be able to do that. But what got us really excited was being able to lock everything. In this bottom, as you can see, we have the hall of cameras. Look at this old eyepiece. The hall of cameras. So we have everything from GoPros. There's a Red. There's two Blackmagic Ursa G2s. There are the FX6. The FX3 fits in here. And then our Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro. All fit in this bottom, totally lockable. Would be a real pain in the ass for someone to get into it. And the alarm system certainly deters that even further. But the idea is all of our cam gear is now nicely organized in this one box, and it keeps things tidy. However, the challenge that we faced, and I am the worst, is twofold. The first challenge is that a lot of times I just would throw things in a box. I'm sorry, I know that that's bad form. It's who I am, right? But that's one of the challenges. So I had seen ads for these things called CRD bags. And I looked at the price, and when I saw them, I was like, oh my God, I'm not paying that for some bags. You may have been in the same boat. And I got really upset. So I went on Amazon and I found some cheap ones. So I found these. There it is. These cheaper bags, they have a zipper on the front. They do what they're supposed to do for the most part. And then I color coded them. So red here, like this red one, was for red camera and or my eyepiece in this instance. Blue was power for batteries. So you have these little bags. The downside is obviously you can't really see in them, and they make for a nice, I look like I'm gonna serve you a hot dog. Anyway, so you can't really see in them, so you have to trust that what was put back correctly. So we have these bags, and these are relatively cheap. I believe these were, let's just say sub $10 or around $10. And I got a huge amount of them, probably like 8 or 9, 10 piece, whatever it was. Then I wasn't satisfied with those. I felt like we were destroying them. The bags did wear out relatively quickly. As you can see, theirs were kind of beat up. Then we moved to the next price range that I would talk about here. And these are more like tool bags. Now, these are much bigger. Let's pull this. You don't need to see that. These are much bigger. We use these for a lot, and they were nice. Again, big open storage, right? You can see they were made by Husky. They're very durable. In fact, they're the most durable bags. I would argue they're probably even more durable than CRD bags, but they were great. They have the lanyard clip. They have a little spot for you to slide in a card of what they are. And these ran about, they're like $20 for 3. So let's just say they're about $6 a piece. So they're interesting. Again, the durability on these, all right, not the best. We used these for a small period of time and they worked okay. The downside was it got really annoying that I couldn't see inside of it because a lot of times what happens with me is when crews on set and they're helping us tear down, they just pack stuff into stuff. And so I would go grab a bag that was marked cables, let's say, and I'd grab it and inside of it would be cables plus like 4 other things that weren't in their home. And so now somebody else on another shoot might be messed up. So one of the ways we combated that is I eventually broke down and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it. So we attempted to try the CRD bags, which are these. And you guys are probably familiar with these. This is not a sponsored video by any means. I'm not sponsored by CRD bags. I will tell you, having used them now for a chunk, they're worth every penny. And it's not for the little stuff of like the clips and all that. It's just for the fact that the zippers work very well. They're very well made zippers, which if you're doing a lot of filming like we are, you're constantly opening and closing. The durability of these zippers is important, but they're fantastic on that side of things. There's an inner pocket and then there's the mirrored pocket, right? So you can see here you have, or not mirrored, but the clear pocket. And then it mirrors on the inside where there's a smaller piece a smaller pocket on the inside. They come in a variety of sizes. This is the medium pouch, right? So you have a medium. Here's a medium that I put now I can carry my very expensive eyepiece in. And so it's nice to have it here where I need it when it goes inside of a case. If I'm traveling a little bit different, it might go in a separate case. Don't want to drop that down. And then they go all the way up to like epic size. So our audio bags, we're able to get almost our entire audio kit minus the boom pole, including the happy hooker, the boom pole holder, and then a grip head inside of one audio kit. So the reason that's important for us is that we have multiple audio kits. It even allows us to put our wireless in there, the microphone, everything involved. Boy, this mic. Allows us to put everything in there, including the mic. So again, very nice to have that where you can see what's supposed to be in there and I can just visually reference it, or even my AC can visually reference it in case someone else, like a PA or even our producers, made the mistake before. And then they go all the way down to like super tiny size, which in this case is great for cables or other options. You've seen the reviews, so you know that there's a little Velcro strip across the top that you can slap little pouches on, or patches on that they give to you. Nice. They're good. Don't necessarily need it when you can see into it. So I don't know if I'd spend a ton of money on them. When I bought my CRD bags, I paid $250 for 2 extra large, 2 medium, and 2 small. And then they included their basic patches for free. Now, those patches are cool, but they inspired a better idea. So while we have all this stuff organized, the bigger challenge that we face is that often everything just goes into a Pelly, right? Or a Nanook case, our new one, like we talked about. But the issue I kept running into is I would pack stuff in a case and not totally know. I've just made a lot of mistakes. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm just being really honest about it. I've forgotten things. I've forgotten everything from stands to stingers, which is my most favorite thing to forget. I don't have stingers with me, to the light modifier. A lot of times I'll bring the light, but not the modifier, and then you have to bounce it off the ceiling. Like, you can pivot, but it just doesn't look as good and doesn't give the look that I was actually after. I've forgotten things like the audio kit before. That's rare, but it's happened. I've forgotten media, a variety of different things I've displaced over time. Now, that said, there is a story that exists in the universe in which Jeff and I were driving to a shoot and we forgot the camera. So we had to scramble my wife to bring us the camera. So I've made that mistake, right? And it's happened. It's less now because we have a checklist system in place. But we also have a secondary checklist system. And that's what I wanted to show you, is one of the things that we really got inspired by the patches that came with our CRD bags was to build a checklist on one case. And I know that sounds really weird, but every time we pull a piece of gear, we lay it out. And so when we pull the gear, we lay it out and we hit it with a tag. So what you have is on the front of the Pelican here, I'll show you guys. On the front, you'll notice that I have, come on, zoom, there it goes, or focus. You notice I have attached some Velcro 2 different ways. You have soft strips across the top, and then you have the hook, rather, the loop on the top, and you have the hook on the bottom. What that allows us to do is actually, when we pull a piece of gear, we grab a tag. So let's say, for example, as I mentioned earlier, I'm notorious for forgetting what? The stingers. So I can just add stingers. Once I've pulled them, I add them onto my case. You can essentially add each and every component just to make sure they're all there. Now, I made these, so they're kind of questionable at best, but I'll show you the finished version of it. Right, so there's kind of a fast way version, but now I have a checklist. The other side of this, the reason we love this checklist, is once we get on set, you pull those off, you put them into the case, and you film what you need to film. And to help you break down just another redundant level of dummy check, once something's accounted for, you put it back on the case. It's just a way for us to make sure that we don't leave anything behind. We move very quickly. You think I talk fast? We move fast. So we move very quickly in a lot of our shoots, and nothing's worse than having to call a client and be like, listen, I know we were in a very pain in the ass space to get to. I need to come back. I left something behind. There you go. The other thing that was really interesting, the reason that there is loop on the top is because of those patches that they provided to us from CRD bags. So now what we have on the top is once we get into the nitty gritty of it, I can make sure that I have batteries. I can make sure that the cameras are loaded correctly, and I can make sure, of course, that I've not forgotten any media, so I can slap those across the top. And all this is just simple Velcro that you can buy, industrial style Velcro. As you can see, they come off easily. You can move them around, do whatever you need to do with them, and make a simple trick out of it. So the organizational side of things is crucial when you're running a business, when you're running a successful business. The last thing you want to do is leave an impression that you're not prepared. You don't want to ever come across like, hey, we just kind of made it happen. We have all this cool gear, but you know, again, you can have the most Gucci camera on earth, but if you forget the media, then it's worthless, right? And so these are just little extra steps we take to help us ensure that not only our organization is there, but that our gear, our equipment, and everything is ready to rumble. So when we step foot on set, they're not waiting for us. The client's never waiting for us, and we can crank things out. Thanks for hanging out. If you like this video, do the whole like and subscribe thing if you want more. If you have any other questions, hit us up. We're here to talk. I'll answer any questions. If you have thoughts about the CRD bags and you want me to answer anything more about it, go in more depth, happy to do so. Thanks again for hanging out. See you soon.